Virginia Giuffre, who accused Prince Andrew of sexual assault, has died. Her family say that she took her own life at her home in Australia.
Behind palace gates polished with tradition, a storm is gathering around Princess Beatrice. Once the most cautious of the York sisters, she now sits at the heart of a fresh royal crisis sparked by new Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor photographs. Leaked images from sealed files have sent tremors through Buckingham Palace and reopened wounds of the past. Insiders say courtiers have issued Beatrice a stern warning that devotion to her father could endanger her reputation, her career, and her future in the monarchy. Can loyalty truly survive? Princess Beatrice in the line of fire. £30 million, a number so huge it feels unreal, yet painfully real for Princess Beatrice of York and her sister, Princess Eugenie. That is the reported amount that has quietly slipped away from their expected inheritance. And at the center of it all stands their own father. What should have been a secure future now looks fragile, shaken by fresh revelations that have once again dragged the York family into a harsh spotlight. In December 2025, the United States Department of Justice released a new set of photographs linked to the Jeffrey Epstein files. Among the many images, one in particular sent shockwaves through Britain. It showed Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, the former Duke of York, sprawled across the laps of 5 women inside Sandringham House, a place meant to represent dignity, privacy, and royal tradition. The image did not just embarrass him, it shook the very foundation of the monarchy's carefully crafted image. Almost immediately, royal experts stepped forward with serious concerns. Their message to Princess Beatrice was blunt and unsettling. They warned that her unwavering loyalty to her father could undo everything she has worked so hard to rebuild over the last decade. For years, Beatrice has carefully reshaped her public identity, moving away from the tabloids' cruel portrayals of her youth. In her 20s, she was often mocked for her fashion choices and dismissed as just another privileged royal who enjoyed parties more than purpose. But she proved critics wrong. Instead of fading into scandal, she chose substance. She became a strong advocate for dyslexia awareness, drawing from her own experiences to help others. At the same time, she built a serious career in technology and artificial intelligence, earning respect in professional circles far beyond the palace. Now 37, married to Edoardo Mapelli-Mozzi, and a mother of 2, Beatrice's life looks completely different from the woman she once was. She is no longer defined by gossip or ridicule, but by quiet ambition and responsibility. Yet, in one shocking moment, one photograph threatens to tear all of that apart. Her father's past, which she has always stood by, now looms over her like a dark cloud she cannot escape. Andrew's fall from grace has been slow, painful, and very public. His disastrous 2019 BBC Newsnight interview with Emily Maitlis marked the beginning of his complete unraveling. His attempt to explain his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein only made things worse, leaving viewers horrified rather than reassured. In 2022, he reached a civil settlement with Virginia Giuffre, though the details remained hidden from the public. By October 2025, he reportedly surrendered his remaining royal titles, a move many saw as inevitable. Still, many believed his disgrace had already reached its lowest point. The newly released photographs proved otherwise. Commentators described the image as a disturbing final chapter in his royal life, made even more shocking by the setting. Sandringham House is not just another royal residence. It is a sacred family retreat where generations of royals have gathered, celebrated, and mourned. The idea that Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell may have entered such a private space with Andrew's involvement raises uncomfortable questions about access, trust, and power. As the controversy grew, pressure mounted on Princess Beatrice and Eugenie. Royal commentators advised them to create distance from their parents to protect their own reputations. Some warned them to step back from high-profile business dealings, especially in wealth-driven regions like the Middle East. The message was clear: their future depends on separating themselves from their father's tarnished legacy. Despite all this, Beatrice has continued to appear composed in public, smiling for photographs and carrying on with her duties. She still holds her princess title, as does her sister, and outwardly, life seems to go on. Yet beneath the surface, tension is rising. Her loyalty to Andrew, once seen as admirable, now looks like a potential downfall. But will love for her father cost her everything she has rebuilt? Keep watching to find out. Princess Beatrice at a crossroads. Princess Beatrice showed no sign that she was ready to step back or distance herself. Just 4 days after her father formally gave up his royal titles, she was reportedly seen driving into Royal Lodge in Windsor to visit him. To many observers, this was not just a casual visit, but a clear message that her bond with him remained unbroken. Yet, it was what happened weeks later that truly caught public attention. On January 24, 2026, Beatrice was reportedly photographed riding horses alongside her father and her 4-year-old daughter, Sienna Mapelli-Mozzi, through Home Park, a vast green space within the grounds of Windsor Castle. According to insiders, the three of them spent more than 45 minutes together, calmly moving through the park, as if the world outside was not watching. Those close to the York family suggested that this was Beatrice's way of allowing her daughter to share precious moments with her grandfather before his expected removal from royal life. Reports claimed that Andrew was preparing for a quiet exile to a remote property on the Sandringham estate, far from the public eye. This looming separation made every minute together feel heavier and more emotional than usual. Above them, however, hung an unavoidable deadline. By February, Andrew was reportedly facing eviction from Royal Lodge, the sprawling 30-room mansion he had occupied for years. The lease, allegedly signed in 2003 for a symbolic one-time payment of £1 million and an annual rent of just 1 peppercorn if demanded, was said to be under review and likely to be revoked. If that happened, the property would return to the Crown estate, stripping Andrew of his longtime home. Royal Lodge had once been a place of comfort and distance, large enough for Andrew and his former wife, Sarah Ferguson, to live separately under the same roof without constant tension.
What's next for Sarah Ferguson and the girls? After the bombshell announcement that the king had stripped Andrew of his remaining titles.
But now, that space felt less like a family home and more like a fading chapter of their lives. As pressure mounted, the relationship between Beatrice and her sister, Princess Eugenie, also appeared to fracture. The two women, once often seen side by side, reportedly stopped presenting a united front. Sources claimed that Eugenie, now 35, had chosen to cut her father off completely, a decision that led to heated arguments within the family. Beatrice was said to see her sister's move as cold and unfair, believing that family loyalty should come first, no matter the scandal. Royal expert Afua Hagen, however, described Eugenie's choice as necessary self-preservation, aimed at protecting her own family from being dragged down by association. This split between the sisters added another layer of pain to an already difficult situation. Christmas 2025 highlighted just how deep these family tensions had grown. Both Beatrice and Eugenie attended the traditional Christmas Day walk at Sandringham, yet their parents were noticeably absent. Andrew and Sarah Ferguson reportedly chose not to attend, breaking decades of royal tradition. Meanwhile, Royal Lodge stood almost eerily undecorated, lacking the usual festive lights and cheer. One commentator even compared Andrew to the Grinch, suggesting that joy had been replaced by silence. Behind closed doors, Beatrice was reportedly struggling emotionally. Friends claimed she chose to go skiing over the holidays rather than attend certain royal events, unable to face the pressure of choosing between her father and the institution she was born into. Despite everything, both Beatrice and Eugenie remained personally innocent of any wrongdoing, having no involvement in their father's past actions. Still, the weight of his scandal continued to shape their lives. Family politics extended beyond their parents. Entertainment reporter Rob Shooter claimed that Prince William was reluctant to see Beatrice and Eugenie take on more prominent royal roles, fearing it could complicate the monarchy's image. Royal author Robert Jobson, however, argued that William did not believe the sisters should be punished for their father's mistakes. Caught between loyalty, reputation, and family duty, Princess Beatrice stood at a crossroads, torn between love for her father and the reality of royal expectations, which leads us to how King Charles is handling the situation. Is he protecting the monarchy or quietly pushing the Yorks further into the cold? Let's uncover the full picture. The princesses and the weight of legacy. King Charles III's handling of the unfolding scandal has sparked a wave of criticism, with commentators questioning his choices during what should have been a solemn holiday moment. On Christmas Day, the sisters were placed front and center during the walkabout, a move many described as tone-deaf, considering that their father's public humiliation was still dominating headlines.
What the royal family is going to do with Andrew this Christmas, because it seems very unlikely that the former Duke will be invited to King Charles's family celebration on the Sandringham estate.
For some, it seemed as though Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie were being moved across a larger, almost strategic royal chessboard, their personal lives secondary to institutional optics. At the heart of recent reports lies a claim that has intrigued royal watchers, a secret agreement between King Charles III and Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. According to sources, Andrew consented to leave Royal Lodge Windsor only after securing a guarantee that his daughters would remain fully welcome within the royal fold. The arrangement, if true, reportedly ensures that while his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson might lose her title, the princesses would remain untouched by their parents' scandals. Essentially, it appears the deal is designed to protect the children's standing, even as the adults around them bear the brunt of public scrutiny. But protection does not equal comfort. Observers note that both Beatrice and Eugenie are caught in an impossible balancing act. On one hand, they are forging their own careers and personal lives, striving for independence. On the other, they are tethered to a royal identity that thrusts them into public view whenever tradition or strategy demands it. The emotional strain of this duality cannot be overstated. Vanity Fair royal correspondent Katie Nicholl described the sisters as the most unfortunate victims, quietly enduring the consequences of their father's actions while maintaining a semblance of dignity and composure. In her words, they are simply trying to carry on with their lives and careers while holding on to some thread of connection with the royal family. The pressure is intensifying as February's deadline looms. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor's final days at Royal Lodge are approaching, and with every passing week, the spotlight narrows on Princess Beatrice. Those close to her claim she has consistently chosen love over logic, loyalty over self-preservation. But these personal decisions exist in a landscape fraught with peril. Every new revelation from the Epstein files, each detail brought into public discourse, chips away at the fragile ground beneath her choices, leaving her exposed not just to scrutiny, but to the broader consequences of legacy and lineage. For Beatrice and Eugenie, the intersection of personal ambition, family loyalty, and institutional expectation is a constant negotiation, one that leaves them navigating treacherous waters with no clear map. The public sees the polished appearances, the smiles for cameras, the obligatory presence at royal events, but behind the scenes, each moment carries the weight of history, expectation, and unspoken compromise. As the situation evolves, one pressing question emerges. How will these hidden arrangements ripple forward, especially when it comes to the financial stakes tied to the children? Could the princesses' lives remain unscathed, or is a larger fallout inevitable? Stay glued to find out the financial implications of the case to the children, and why every choice made today could reshape their tomorrow. The financial implications of royal scandals. Royal scandals rarely affect just the person at the center. They ripple outward, touching family, finances, and reputation. For Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, the fallout from Prince Andrew's association with Jeffrey Epstein has not only brought intense public scrutiny but has also jeopardized their anticipated inheritance, leaving the York sisters facing financial uncertainty at a stage when many would expect stability.
Don't think Beatrice and Eugenie had a choice. Andrew said to them, "You have to go."
Central to this financial upheaval is the Royal Lodge, the 30-room mansion on the Windsor estate where Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson once lived. For years, the property was seen as a cornerstone of the York daughters' future inheritance. Reports indicate that Andrew secured the lease in 2003 for a nominal fee, with terms that allowed the property to be passed on. However, with Andrew's royal titles stripped and his lease set to be revoked, the property now reverts to the Crown estate. The direct consequence for Beatrice and Eugenie is a significant financial and symbolic loss. A home tied to family history, prestige, and monetary value, removed at a time when it might have served as a secure foundation for their futures. Beyond Royal Lodge, there are broader financial implications tied to inheritance expectations. Members of the royal family often rely on a mixture of personal wealth, trust funds, and properties under the Crown estate to sustain their lifestyles and charitable endeavors. With Andrew's financial missteps and legal settlements, including the civil settlement with Virginia Giuffre, the sisters' access to potential funds has been cut off. Some sources report losses upwards of £30 million, illustrating just how deeply one family member's scandal can destabilize others' financial security. These losses are not just about money, they carry reputational weight. For public figures like Beatrice and Eugénie, financial independence is intertwined with credibility. Investors, business partners, and sponsors consider both wealth and image when engaging with high-profile figures. A tarnished inheritance could undermine Beatrice's and Eugenie's positions in business ventures or philanthropic initiatives, making the scandal's impact both personal and professional. The York sisters' response to these challenges has been cautious but strategic. They continue to pursue careers that build credibility separate from their father's legacy. Beatrice in technology and artificial intelligence consulting, Eugénie in art and philanthropy, while carefully navigating high-profile appearances. The loss of Royal Lodge and associated wealth makes these efforts even more critical. They are no longer relying solely on inherited privilege, but must actively secure their financial futures through independent work and calculated public roles. At the same time, the Crown Estate's reclamation of Royal Lodge underscores a larger lesson about royal property and inheritance. Nothing is guaranteed, and the repercussions of scandal can reach far beyond headlines. For Beatrice and Eugénie, this is a stark reminder that even proximity to royalty does not shield one from financial vulnerability. When a family member's actions compromise trust, legality, or public perception. With the sisters now facing a landscape where legacy, finances, and personal reputation are intertwined more tightly than ever, one question looms over them. Can royal titles and privileges continue to protect them, or are these distinctions increasingly symbolic in a world that scrutinizes scandal and success alike? Stay tuned as we explore. Royal titles amid scandal. In the wake of Prince Andrew's scandal,
you would notice if there were hundreds of underage girls in Geoffrey's house. Wasn't there. Not when I was there.
Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugénie find themselves navigating a uniquely complex royal landscape. Their father's fall from grace has cast a long shadow over the York sisters, raising difficult questions about the relevance and implications of retaining their royal titles. Unlike Andrew, who relinquished his dukedom and military affiliations, Beatrice and Eugénie continue to hold their princess titles and the York designation. At first glance, this seems like a protective measure by the monarchy, a way to shield the next generation from reputational fallout. But the reality is far more nuanced, with both opportunities and challenges embedded in the symbolic inheritance. Royal titles are more than mere names. They carry ceremonial duties, public visibility, and social influence. For Beatrice and Eugénie, maintaining their titles allows them to participate in select royal events, charitable initiatives, and public engagements, granting them a platform that most of their peers outside royalty could only dream of. Yet these privileges also tether them to a legacy complicated by scandal. Each public appearance, social media post, or philanthropic endeavor is inevitably measured against the backdrop of their father's controversies, forcing them to balance visibility with caution. The monarchy itself faces a delicate balancing act in preserving its titles. King Charles III and royal advisors reportedly structured arrangements to allow the sisters to continue their royal roles while distancing them from Andrew's personal failings.
King Charles has been heckled over Prince Andrew's relationship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
This suggests a deliberate effort to protect both the institution and the individual sisters, acknowledging that Beatrice and Eugénie are not responsible for their father's actions. It also reflects a strategic decision to to retain some continuity in public perception. The monarchy cannot entirely sever ties with the York lineage without inviting criticism, yet it must also signal accountability in the wake of scandal. For the sisters, this duality creates both leverage and vulnerability. Beatrice has actively embraced her royal duties alongside her professional endeavors, carefully curating a public image rooted in philanthropy, technology, and family. Eugénie, while also maintaining her princess title, has been more selective in her engagements, often prioritizing private initiatives or business ventures over high-profile appearances. Both approaches demonstrate an awareness that their titles are assets, but assets that require careful management in a climate of intense scrutiny. Public perception adds another layer of complexity. Titles do not automatically confer goodwill, especially when scandal taints the broader family. Each appearance at a royal gathering, charitable gala, or international event invites speculation. Is Beatrice showing loyalty, or is she exploiting privilege? Is Eugénie's distance a calculated move or a personal choice? The answers are not clear-cut, and the media has been quick to highlight both praise and criticism, underscoring the precarious position the sisters occupy. As royal experts note, the York sisters now function as symbols of a larger institutional balancing act. Their titles offer protection, but also exposure. Retaining them allows a measure of continuity, yet it makes them highly visible targets for commentary on loyalty, propriety, and public responsibility. Every decision, from attending official engagements to managing family dynamics, is scrutinized, revealing the tightrope walk they must perform between privilege and perception, inheritance and independence. So while their titles provide a shield of legitimacy, they also amplify the pressure to navigate public scrutiny, family expectations, and personal ambitions simultaneously. Can Beatrice and Eugénie maintain their stature and credibility, or does the mere association with scandal undermine the very privileges their titles are meant to safeguard? Stay with us as we delve deeper. Beatrice and Eugénie's royal struggle. For Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugénie, the repercussions of Prince Andrew's scandal extend far beyond the headlines. They permeate every aspect of their public and private lives. While they are not implicated in their father's actions, the concept of guilt by association has become an inescapable reality. The public, conditioned to view royals as both symbols and individuals, often blurs the lines between personal responsibility and familial connection. Each media report, photograph, or social appearance involving Beatrice or Eugénie is instantly measured against Andrew's controversies, forcing them to constantly navigate a treacherous landscape of perception. Royal commentators frequently highlight the delicate balancing act required of the York sisters. Beatrice's visible loyalty to her father, spending time at Royal Lodge and riding with him and her daughter, has drawn admiration from some quarters for her familial devotion. Yet others interpret it as a risky entanglement, suggesting that her reputation is vulnerable to the same scrutiny that condemned Andrew. Eugénie, by contrast, has strategically created distance, protecting her immediate family and public image, though this choice carries emotional costs and invites judgment about her perceived coldness.
Princess Eugenie's reportedly severed contact with her father, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor.
The sisters' differing approaches illustrate the impossible equilibrium between maintaining family ties and safeguarding personal credibility in the public eye. Media scrutiny intensifies this pressure. Every movement, statement, or professional engagement is dissected by journalists, social media commentators, and royal experts. Tabloid headlines amplify minor missteps, while public forums debate the ethics of their choices. Such relentless attention is not without consequence. Psychologists studying the impact of high-profile scrutiny on well-being note that constant judgment can heighten anxiety, exacerbate stress, and create persistent feelings of vulnerability. For Beatrice and Eugénie, the mental toll is compounded by the intimate nature of the coverage. Family disputes, holiday absences, and private interactions are presented as public spectacle, eroding the boundary between personal life and public persona. The impact is tangible in their personal choices. Beatrice has reportedly skipped certain royal gatherings to protect herself from media pressure, opting instead for private family time or professional engagements that allow more control over her image. Eugenie's focus on selective appearances and international projects reflects a conscious effort to limit exposure, shielding both her mental health and that of her children. In both cases, the sisters are negotiating a path that preserves dignity while mitigating the constant external judgment that comes with royal status. Their experiences illuminate broader truths about public life in the digital age. Reputation is fragile, and even innocence does not guarantee protection from guilt by association. Mental health and personal relationships are deeply affected when scrutiny becomes relentless, highlighting the hidden human cost behind the glamour of royalty. Beatrice and Eugenie are living examples of how inherited privilege can be complicated by circumstance, requiring both resilience and strategic foresight to navigate successfully. As they continue to manage public perception, family expectations, and professional responsibilities, can the York sisters carve out identities and careers independent of scandal? Or will the shadow of their father's legacy continue to shape every opportunity? Follow along as we reveal this compelling journey. Rebuilding royal lives beyond scandal. For Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, the reverberations of Prince Andrew's scandal have created a defining moment in their lives. The controversy surrounding their father has placed both sisters under intense public scrutiny, challenging not only their reputations but also their sense of identity. While neither is implicated in Andrew's actions, the shadow of his scandal has inevitably influenced how the world perceives them. Yet, amid this turbulence lies an opportunity to redefine themselves, rebuild their careers, and craft public personas that stand independent of familial controversy. Princess Beatrice has long demonstrated a capacity for reinvention and resilience. Once dismissed by tabloids as a party princess, she has methodically cultivated a career rooted in technology and business consulting, specializing in artificial intelligence and innovation.
Because technology does need energy, and energy does need technology to really move the needle for a sustainable future.
Her professional accomplishments have earned her credibility outside royal circles, allowing her to be recognized for expertise rather than simply for her lineage. Coupled with her philanthropic work, particularly raising awareness of dyslexia, Beatrice has crafted a public image of substance, intelligence, and compassion. In the aftermath of her father's scandal, she now faces the challenge of continuing to expand these achievements while navigating public perception, ensuring that her identity is increasingly defined by merit and contribution rather than association. Princess Eugenie has taken a complementary yet distinct approach. By focusing on her passions in art, philanthropy, and selective public engagements, Eugenie has cultivated a reputation for independence and intentionality. Unlike Beatrice, she has reportedly created more distance between herself and royal high society, prioritizing family life and professional pursuits that reflect her personal values. This strategy allows her to manage her public image with greater control, minimizing exposure to the scandals that have embroiled her father, while still retaining the benefits of her royal heritage. Eugenie's approach underscores the importance of autonomy. By defining her own agenda, she can pursue success on her terms, free from the limitations imposed by public expectation or inherited controversy. Public perception remains a persistent challenge for both sisters. The media's tendency to conflate family association with personal responsibility has forced Beatrice and Eugenie to carefully manage their visibility. Every appearance, statement, or project is examined through the lens of Andrew's scandal, making deliberate communication essential. By prioritizing meaningful work, engaging in philanthropic causes, and carefully selecting professional collaborations, they can gradually shift the narrative to focus on their accomplishments rather than familial controversies. In doing so, they demonstrate that credibility and respect are earned, not inherited. Strategic partnerships and professional endeavors will play a critical role in this rebuilding process. Both sisters have shown the ability to leverage their royal background to access opportunities, yet they have balanced this privilege with tangible contributions that highlight skill and dedication. Whether through technology consulting, art initiatives, or philanthropic projects, Beatrice and Eugenie can create a portfolio of work that strengthens their personal brands, while ensuring independence from the scandals that surround their father. Ultimately, their prospects hinge on resilience, discernment, and the ability to navigate public scrutiny while remaining true to their individual aspirations. Beatrice and Eugenie are at a crossroads where the choices they make will determine whether they emerge defined by scandal or by personal achievement. So, what's your take on Princess Beatrice's choice? Should she stand by her father or prioritize her own future? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.